So in the liturgy for Hanukah, in the Al Nisim, it says, Misarta, Geborim B'yad Chaloshim, Rabbim B'yad Mi'atim, V'Tamein B'yad Tahirim, V'Shoim B'yad Tzadikim. So we thank, Hanukah is a time of thanksgiving and praise. And we say, we thank God because you gave the mighty into the hands of the weak, and the many into the hands of the few, the impure into the hands of the pure, and the wicked into the hands of the righteous. So Satmar Rav's Schus Yigin Aleinu D'Vrayol on Chanukah, he says, that these terms, is that you put the impure into the hands of the pure, and the wicked into the hands of the righteous. That's an essential part of the miracle. What does it mean? Is that there was no mixing together. That the wicked did not mix into this. The wicked Jews, the ones who aren't pure, they didn't mix themselves into this war. That the Hellenists fell specifically into the hands of the righteous people, the pure people alone. Because if the wicked people would have been mixed into this war, this whole miracle could not have happened. And also, not only that, but the Rebbe says it's forbidden for the righteous to go and fight together with the wicked. Because it's forbidden to be mischaber, to join together with the wicked people, with the shoyim, even to fight in a war together with them against our enemies. You're not allowed to have a mix in a Torah army, to have righteous people and wicked people fighting together against a common foe. No, you're not allowed to go fight with such people. You're not allowed to fight in such an army. This is in the Talmud, in Gittin, Daf Nun Vav, page 56, to Amar Rabbanim. The rabbi said, Lahanhu bar Yoneh, Shratz l'ulchem neged roimim, v'loim estayel milsal netzach. We know that there was a certain political party in the times of the Second Temple called the Baryonim, the Baryonites. There were different discussions about who exactly they were. Some people say that they were students of a particularly famous person of that time. It doesn't matter exactly who they were. But the point was that these were the people, these were the zealots, these were the same people who fought at Masada, and they wanted to fight against the Romans. They wanted to wage war against the Romans. And the holy sages didn't give any help with them toward any idea of victory. So Rebbe says that's a very difficult thing. Why didn't the sages go fight with the Baryonim to fight against the Romans? At that time the temple was existing. And you could say that there was a mitzvah to fight against the enemies who were bothering them, and to protect Jerusalem and the temple, the Beis Mikdash. Now we're in the Golus, we're in exile. Now unequivocally it is forbidden for the Jewish people to have an army or to fight. That's very clear against the Gentiles. We are totally forbidden to have any physical fight against the Gentile nations. Why? It says very clearly in the Talmud, based on the Bible, in Song of Songs, that it is a very strong oath that we're forbidden to fight or to rebel against the Gentile nations. We're in exile, we're supposed to be humble and humbly submit and wait patiently for the Messiah. But it's very different. Then, when the temple existed, there was a mitzvah, there was a commandment, it was a good deed to go fight. So why didn't the sages, why didn't they agree to go fight together with the Baryonim against the Romans to protect Jerusalem, protect the temple from being destroyed? Alright, so generally what they say is that the sages, not only were they sages of God's word, But they were inspired that when you learn Torah, when you learn in the proper way, it opens up your brain that you can reach into the higher worlds. You can see with Ruach HaKodesh, you could see inspiration spiritually through holiness. And they saw that it wasn't time and that they weren't going to win. So they saw with their divine inspiration it wasn't going to work, so they wouldn't go fight against the Romans. But we have, it says in the book of Deuteronomy, Torah leb'shamayim hi. The Torah is not in heaven. God gave us the Torah. How can they use divine inspiration, a step lower from prophecy? How can they use something mystical to decide? You're not allowed to do that. You're supposed to follow what's written in the Torah. You can't you can't look into the future and see that you're not going to win. If the Torah says to do something, it's very clear you have to do it. Just the same. We say, King Hezekiah had a vision, had a prophecy that his son would be evil. And Isaiah the prophet came to him and told him, you're not allowed to not have children. You know you're going to die because you never got married and didn't have children. He said, well, I saw with my prophecy my son would be wicked. So that's none of your business. You get married and have children. You wound up marrying Isaiah's daughter. Right? It's true. The child was wicked. Not only that, this child, Manasseh, the king of Israel, the king of Judah, he actually killed Isaiah according to many stories. Anyway, the Torah is not in heaven, so you can't use prophecy to change the Torah. You have to follow halacha. So how could they not go and fight because they had a divine inspiration? So we must say, the Rebbe teaches, that we learn here that the Torah teaches us that you're not allowed to fight in a war together with the Bar Yonim, together with the wicked people. It's forbidden. Even though you could say it's a mitzvah at that time when the temple existed, we weren't yet in exile. It was a mitzvah to go and fight and to protect Jerusalem, protect the temple. But we see from the Torah that it's forbidden to fight together with wicked people. And we see this even in the Bible. We see it also in the book of Deuteronomy. There's the parsha of the Kohen Meshuach Milchama, the priest who is anointed for war. He's like a military chaplain in the time. And what does it say? He would, before they went out to war, he said, listen, we're going out to fight the war of God. And he would say, who built a new house, and he didn't get dedicated to go home. Who is engaged to get married, not exactly, who is betrothed, and he didn't yet make Kiddushin, he didn't consummate the marriage yet, he should go home. And then the last one says, whoever's afraid, he says, who is the man who's afraid and has a weak heart, he should go back to his house. And our sages say in the Talmud, in Sota Mem Gimel, page 48 in the Gemara Sota, doesn't mean it's just like a guy, he's a scaredy cat, he's nervous, he's afraid of the sins that he had. But let's say even someone, he put on his tefillin on his hand, and then he spoke before he put on his tefillin on his head. Not allowed to speak between them. That minor thing is enough that he shouldn't go fight in the Torah army. Or let's say he spoke between Yishtabach and Baruch.